What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Miniature Monday as we wrap up our February kit. I hope you all had an awesome weekend and week from the last time that you saw me. I know that I've seen some of you guys paint up the... What did we paint up last time? The Yeti.
Yes.
Duh. Yeah, so I saw some of the Yetis. They look really cool. What was interesting as well is I saw some people actually post them in the wild in like some Frostgrave groups and other groups other than just the Reaper group. So it was cool to see them exist elsewhere. So, but I've definitely been enjoying seeing that. I hope everybody out there is having a good day. Hey Max, hey Cupcake, hey Peter, hey Sibling. How are y'all doing? Good to see you. So again, today we are working on the Metal Mini. If you do exclamation point prep, I believe, that will get you to the prep video. If somebody wants to try that out. Hey Christine, how's it going? Christine Van Pratten with there's no R, I'm just mispronouncing her name on purpose. Rainbow sculptor there. But there it is. So you guys can see the metal prep video for this miniature. There's nothing involved other than just cleaning up seam lines. So it's there if you need it. I don't think you need it, but if you need some extra help, there's that. My sword was really bent on my guy, so I just sort of like showed how to slowly, fix any bent metal weapons, anything like that, and that's relatively it. So I haven't seen the close cam today yet, so if we want to go ahead and go to that, we can kind of check. Ooh, look at me, I'm feeling dark. Does this dark?
Oh, you look sunburnt too.
I look real sunburnt.
I got you though.
Oh, you're going to do it?
Yep.
Okay, he's going to do it. So here's who we're working on today. Wow, the focus also needs to be adjusted to right about here. So we're going to do this really quick. Oh, nice.
Focus is good.
Focus is good. And then I look real crispy, crunchy. Let's see. Oh, now that's a little bit cool. But,
Now let me do this.
Grab someone who's painted. Okay, seems a little bit dork. And a little bit. Okay, there we go. Looks cool to me. There you go. All right, yeah, that does look nice. All right, so we're gonna be working on this nice little wizard right here. Of course, this is the hero from this month. If we want to see the finished painted version, we will go over everything. Oh, do you want to add the paint color overlay?
Yes.
So, of course, we started off, there it is. So, of course, we started off with the crystal golem here, looking really, really awesome. Then we moved on to our friar. You can see him here. I've seen quite a few of the friars posted online. They all look really nice. What's funny is, like, I've seen some variations, and I'm like, wow, look at that. That's blue. So I know, you guys came from there. So then we worked on our Yeti last time, our big boy Yeti. And then, of course, the guy that we're emulating today is the wizard. So this is a nice paint job, relatively simple to pull off. Is that a little bit dark?
Yeah, we can boost it just a hair. Yeah, just boost the exposure up a hair there.
I feel like that's good. Did that help?
Looks a little bit brighter. You could probably use a little more without overexposing. Whoa. Well, that's perfect.
I love it.
Yeah,
it's so good.
This is spot on.
We're fine, guys. We're fine. Call the police. All right, so there it is. I'd say that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Is it overexposed or perfect? I think that's actually probably...
That looks good, yeah.
Perfecto. All right, cool. So, all right, so that's who we're working on today. But I think you guys may have seen the post, and I know I posted it over the weekend and all that good stuff. But let's get some good close-up shots of our March kit. So the March kit is available at some point this week. John posted about it earlier today. So we will go over these minis. So here is our hero for March. You can see a sneaky assassin with some cool magic weapons. You can see the cloak has a ton of cool texture on it. I'm sort of painting a little bit more in my style on this one, just with the brush strokes and everything else involved. But I figured, you're a sneaky beaky rogue, so you may as well have some cool effects going on. There is a video for how we did the bases and how we sculpted the bases. So all of that video will be available online as well for all of you to try and emulate that the best you can. I just used Milliput, nothing too crazy. So that is our hero, and then the NPCs, or the hapless, victims that our hero is trying to help for March are the two fungoids, and I believe Ron called them funjoids. When I saw the replay when he was showing these off, so I thought that was kind of funny. But they're a little bit overexposed, at least on my end here. They may look fine on camera on your end, but they're a little bit darker than this, but you can see they've got buns and they're tons of fun. So thought this one was cool to do multiple miniatures as the NPC, and of course we double based them because they're friends. So these are the guys that are going to be needing our NPC's help, so you can see that here. Then, of course, for the monsters, we have a... Thank you, Dabber, for that very on-point joke there.
And thank you, Giggling Geek, for the raid.
Ah, yeah, thank you.
It's awesome.
So you can see the small monster that we have for March as well is a spider. So I actually was very pleased with how I ended up basing this guy, curving the legs back, and then curving them down underneath so that it's kind of this like fun crouched jumping position. So this is a really relatively easy paint, but it's more about layering up to create texture and following ridges and all of that, doing some cool eyes, and that's pretty much it. But this one was really fun. And then of course the big bad guy is this huge sculpt right here. So we'll be having fun with her. There will be a prep video for putting her together because she has quite a few pieces, and even I did gap filling on this gap right here, but I did okay. I didn't do a great job, but it is what it is. It's okay. But so she's really fun to do. Very similar, highlighting up the same way that we did the ice troll and his skin, and then doing some tapering to the green off of the purple. Green and purple always work really well together, but tying, the two together. So here she is, and she's directing her little spiderling along the way. So, but that is what you can look forward to next month as well. And then I know that I just put together 6 months worth of new kit ideas. So we have lots and lots of kits planned with themes all the way from mechanical dungeon to underwater pirate theme. So we have all kinds of cool stuff planned for the future. So spider sound effects, I don't even know that I did that. That's how you can tell I'm really in a great mood today. So, John's in the chat. Hello, John. Glad to see you working hard away downstairs. No, I'm just kidding. March Kits tomorrow at 6 p.m. So there you go. And that's pretty much it, I believe. So we can pretend to get started. So if we're looking at our paint scheme here, it's broken down really into 2 steps and then the extras. So the 2 steps, of course, being doing our greens and then doing the reddish brown, and then everything else is just sort of an afterthought because they're all very simple details. So Jeff TV, why is you base coat with black and sprayed with white gray? This is a zenithal application. It allows me to go faster, and it also lets some of the shadow and highlighting show through on the base coat application, which is what the whole point is for that, so that you can go a little bit faster. I know some people do this same method, but it's only because they want to see where to put their shadows and stuff. I don't really think that necessarily is as helpful as it can be. If you're not doing a totally opaque application of paint, then you still get to retain all of the nice sort of shadows that you built in with that. So, and I don't think I did gray with him. Sometimes I do. I think this was just pure white application on top. I just use a really high PSI, like 35 PSI, through the airbrush, and it gives me a nice smooth transition. So, but
which is what Lovejoy had suggested too, right? Like
yeah, I always go really high.
Right.
So, but we can go ahead and get started. So I'm going to get a couple colors out here just because I know we're going to rock and roll with it. I'm going to do Noir Black. I'm going to get out Deep Red, and then we're also going to use Tarnished Copper. And all of those are going to be what we're using to start to build in our sort of reddish brown cloak. Whoop, knocking this guy over. Oh, let me see. right, so we've got our red here. I'll put this here so you can at least see it in the background. And then our tarnished copper. I don't have my pokey tool here because Sydney took my pokey tool out of my box.
Tisk tisk.
Yeah. She was painting her warlord stuff this weekend though, so.
Ah, is she in chat?
Could be, potentially. I'm not sure.
Sydney, did you take the pokey tool?
She didn't take it. I know where it is. It didn't get put back where it needs to live permanently. So, with this application, if I am remembering correctly, I think I did just sort of go deep brown for the first application. Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of the deep red here, give it a place to live on the palette, a little bit of the noir black. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then add some of the tarnished copper. Boom. I'm not a little bit more red. So I would say 2 tips of red, 1 tip of copper, 1 tip of whatever black you're using, and that will get you where you need to be. So we mix these here.
If you want to, Ashley, you're welcome to do that. He asked if we're still doing phrasing.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, that. Perfect. We're on the same page.
Yeah, I'm lost.
Completely gold.
All right, so applying this underneath here. Now, you could, technically, if you wanted to, do this a different color. Sort of a visual balance thing to have it be the same color as the cowl / cape. So if you want to change this underskirt part, whatever his robe is underneath, you can change that if you'd like. But for our purposes here, we're having that be the same color just so visually it balances out the green, because you have the green there, and the brown there, so it just kind of works out nicely. But not a very difficult paint today. This one is a very simple, clean paint job, nice easy highlighting. Shouldn't be too difficult for you out there in the interwebs for everybody that is painting along. And then was it confirmed that we are in fact doing Warlord today? Yes? Unless that's changed since I've been here?
You guys are playing, yes.
Okay.
I hadn't planned on streaming it.
Oh, okay.
And that's why I was curious. I thought about it, but I was like, well, but we don't really have the same setup we had last time.
True.
Because that's changed a little bit. But, I mean, I kind of want it to look a little better than it did, even though we did get a lot of positive feedback for it. To me, it felt very rough and needed a lot of polish. But
right.
That's my personal opinion.
Well, that's why you're easily replaced. So next week we'll have a new host.
Well, let's do it. That's fine. Let's
right.
Why not?
All right. So you can see we still have that zenithal showing from underneath as it dries, relatively transparent. And then we're going to let that dry. I will go ahead and just make a random brown here for, let's see, pretty much tarnished copper in the deep red. And then this is what I'll use to base coat the staff there.
Oh, Max, I meant like our camera setup and the lighting and there's a lot of stuff that I'd like to do off camera before we actually streamed it again. Now, the other stuff, you're right. We have to actually stream to work out some of those kinks, phrasing. But outside of that, I get it, Max. You'll watch anything we put out, even if it's just literally a jar of peanut butter with the lid sitting next to it, because I know how much you like that sort of thing. Also, the Steelers suck.
Wow. What are they stealing?
Sure as hell not wins.
Wow.
Got them.
Are they a team?
Got them.
Are Steelers a team?
Yeah.
For what?
Well, I mean, team is a really strong term for what they are.
Oh, I see. I see. So, there's that. Pretty easy. Easy peasy. Now then.
I've never recorded an audiobook, but Josh and I will do one. We'll read 50 Shades of Grey together.
Oh, that's very cool. Is that a book about painting different shades of gray?
Yes, it is.
My
Perfect.
favorite is Deep Taupe. It's a very warm sort of middle tone gray.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Perfect.
It's amazing.
There you go, Paul John's Life. We'll just stream a dropper of a paint. Also, Zolgito, are you referring to the first time we streamed Warlord? Because I can link that if you really want to watch it.
It was cool. Collins cheated the whole time.
Collins did cheat the whole time.
So if you're into people that cheat, then for sure. So you can see we're basing this sort of middle of the road there. Actually, I think that's pretty spot on because we're just going to go redder and more tarnished copper as we highlight that up. So we're just going to wait for a second. Max, I like how Max preemptively is doing exclamation point Warlord as if there was a command. Now remember, you can join the Facebook group Reapers Warlord, and that's where I've been posting. I'm literally doing a lot of work in that group. So we're doing, I'm making stat cards, like playing card size stat cards for every single unit in the game. I've already done 2 factions completely. So, it's... we're doing some work to make it more available for people that may not be as familiar with it. I've linked a bunch of stuff in there. I even made like a game reference sheet to go with another reference sheet that's uploaded in the group. So we're just trying to make it a lot easier for people to kind of get in there and see what's going on and kind of move from there. So, but that's what I did over the weekend. And then we also did our first non-metallic metal Patreon class, actually. If you want to go to the close cam, I have that miniature. So we painted up this awesome Dark Elf miniature in 2 hours over the weekend. This was for the $5 level class. For $5 every single month, you get 2... people are saying they've lost the stream. That's interesting.
Let me see. No, it looks like it's still... Oh, no, unless our internet's tanking again. Yeah. Oh, no, not the internet. Can you guys still hear us?
Can you hear us?
I did actually, Max. I didn't unplug anything. I just timed you out. It's fine. Let's see here. Whoops. I mean, what's worse, and this is a little more alarming to me, Josh, is I'm streaming at 720. I'm not even at 1080 today. So I went into this expecting potential issues, and we're still... Oh, the guys up front were working on the line.
Yeah,
I saw that when I came in.
They're out there right now.
I saw that when I came in.
Well, look, I think we're back up.
Oh, are we stable again?
Kind of. I feel like it's a little choppy.
It's choppy, yeah. Hold on a second here.
All right, so if you're just now hopping back on... Oh, is it cutting out?
Upside of things, though, guys, is I will upload this to YouTube. We'll work through this now, but it'll be flawless on YouTube, I promise.
You may want to drop in the chat, too, that there are guys outside working on the internet line.
Yeah.
So...
Okay, let's see here.
But as quickly as I can, this was our Patreon class over the weekend. So it was a 2-hour class for $5 doing non-metallic metal on this Bones Black miniature. So remember, you can always go to patreon.com/minipaintingstudio and you can join in on all the fun there. And then this weekend coming up, we have another non-metallic metal class as well using the Duckman Warrior miniature as well. So... but this one was a lot of fun. I think the miniature is really, really great, and I think that for 2 hours, this turned out to be a really great paint job. So definitely check that out, patreon.com/minipaintingstudio. And there's all kinds of stuff. When you sign up, there's like 60 hours of classes now at this point. So, for example, this was one of our freehand classes, doing freehand tattoos, all kinds of fun stuff like that. I always try and bring examples of the paint jobs that we do over the certain topics and whatever. So it's always really fun. Remember, check that out, patreon.com/minipaintingstudio. So we are now ready to start applying a secondary highlight color here. So we're going to go ahead and drop more of that deep red here on the palette.
Yeah, our problem's cleared up. So it's either the guys up front or it's Twitch. Because now it's telling me my bitrate is excellent. So
okay, there we go. So now that we have that, I'm going to add pretty much a lot of that deep red, a little bit of noir black, and then a little bit of the tarnished copper to start moving in that sort of middle red direction. So you can see where we're going to start applying those highlights up underneath the sort of fold there under his arm, and then everything else where it would typically be placed. Now I think I put a little bit more red than I did on the other paint job this time around, so we'll just kind of see how that balances itself out. But
Also, guys, I would, if you're still having issues, refresh your stream real quick, and it should fix it.
yeah, I was actually kind of confused at what those people were out front, because they had like a pump out there too, like
Yeah.
water.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like they were pumping water from the line, which happens.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm more afraid that they, even if they weren't there for the internet, they dug down and hit something.
Yeah.
And they don't care because, they're doing their job, so. Yeah, that looks pretty good already. Look at that.
So we're just highlighting this up.
Hey, Max, I wouldn't go to that length. I would just time you out before anything else.
You shall not dry brush. That's right. We don't dry brush around here, really.
What is your opinion on dry brushing, though?
I just don't do it. There's nothing. I mean, nothing wrong with it. I just don't like on some stuff. That's pretty much all you can do, right? So if you're doing like chainmail or different textures like that, and you're just sort of in more of a hurry, depending on the style of sculpt, then yeah, it's a easy technique. For me, I just really don't want to ruin my expensive brushes, and so I don't dry brush. I also like to have a little bit cleaner effects. Dry brush sometimes can get sort of messy and muddy, so unless it's something very crucial, I pretty much stay away from it. But anybody that's watched my painting long enough has seen all of the different ways that I work around needing to dry brush and everything like that. So I just don't do it. But so that's my worthless opinion. Of course, anyone can do whatever they'd like. But yeah, I just stay away from it. I just think you don't have as much control as like over brushing and washing down and different techniques like that. So
Right. Thank you, sibling, for answering that question. But Captain Rantaman had asked if they could access past classes on your Patreon.
yeah, so the second you sign up for Patreon, you will get a list. In the way that my Patreon works, I pretty much just bill you on Patreon, and then we do a private Facebook group, and that's where everyone can communicate back and forth with each other. All of the previous class streams get uploaded there, and then there's sort of like this running index list of all of the previous $5 level classes, and there's also some 10 thrown in there. But yeah, so everything that we've done, typically I update it every month, gets thrown up there, a list of the miniatures that were used, all that good stuff. I don't sort of like restrict anything like that, because you do get charged the second you join, and that's part of the reason is that you immediately get access to all that stuff. So the $10 level gets you an additional advanced class at the end of the month. So this weekend is an advanced non-metallic metal class, and that one's going to be really, really fun. And then at we haven't did it, like this was the first month where we hit a milestone to do two classes at $5. So that is more of like a hobby-centered or concept-centered class as well. And then if you do sign up at the $20 level, we mail palettes in the mail to you that you then can use to color match during the classes. So yeah, those are pretty much all the different levels that I offer. But again, you can check that out, patreon.com/minipaintingstudio. And big thank you as well to everybody that has been using the Amazon link. So someone literally bought like a laser cutter off Amazon using my link for $3,000, and I got a huge commission off that.
Oh, wow.
So big thank you. That's definitely going to be huge because I'm going to be moving in like 60 days, which is when I'll get that credit. So thank you so much. If you're ever interested in the supplies that I use, the materials, the tools, whatever, you can always do that at amazon.com/. Pretty much just go to minipainting.studio, click the Amazon shop link, and you can do your shopping as you normally would, and they hook me up with a little bit of a percentage for anything that is purchased. So, but big thanks to everybody that's been doing that. It really, really helps me. So, I mean, I can buy everything from hobby supplies for myself to cat food, or more importantly, kitty litter. So, but big thanks to whoever bought the laser machine. So, no free panache. No free on this show. It's just me. Sorry. Sorry.
Actually, next week, I think we're going to start doing frees.
Oh, great.
Yeah. We might give away pass kits, too.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll put it together.
All right. So now I'm going up with a little bit more of the tarnished copper. You can see it just makes a very awesome, rich brown. That reads as red right now. When we apply that sort of diluted green for the rest of his robes and hat, it actually sort of moves it down a little bit.
John said exclamation point broke boy.
Hashtag broke boy. Who's a broke boy?
I don't know, because I definitely didn't make a command that said broke boy.
Yeah, I'm very confused. John, are you saying you're broke or I'm broke? Because I literally know where you are right now, and I'll come take your Crocs and embarrass you in front of the world, so.
Wait, is he actually wearing Crocs?
Yeah, he wears yellow Crocs everywhere he goes.
Oh, wow. Unironically?
Unironically. Started as a joke, now it's real.
That's how they fall.
Yep. So we're just following the highlight pattern that we had previously here on the folds. Nothing too crazy. But you can see it's really building up nicely. Actually, like warm browns are some of my favorite to paint.
You really like warm brown?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised. Max Powers really likes warm brown, too. He likes to paint his pants on his minis warm brown.
Let's see. So we're just following these highlights. And really, I feel like we're only one step away from being done with it. In terms of our brown colors here.
I feel like I haven't seen you in a hot minute, Trash Rama. Where have you been?
Digging through trash, I'm sure.
Ah.
It's not dumpster diving, it's grocery shopping.
Yuck. That's gross.
All right, so you can see we're about one step away. So now I'm going to be applying that tarnished copper on its own, layered on top, and it should get us to where we're wanting to be. So let's see. I was hoping that was John coming up here to fist fight me on camera, but it's not, sadly.
That would have been awkward. I think that's against Twitch TOS.
Oh, fist fighting?
Yeah.
We could belly bump.
Just over and over?
Yeah.
As long as nipples don't show.
Well, as long as you have some tape, because I have
No, they're guys, and as long as it's in a natural environment, right? This is
No.
perfectly normal.
Yeah, this is Thunderdome.
I don't want to chance that. Not for John and Josh's nipples. Let's be honest. Like.
Yeah, they've had enough exposure.
Oh yes.
Yep.
Josh did some overexposure when we first started.
I was playing you the Song of My People with the belly drum.
Alrighty.
And there goes Collins.
All right, so now that Collins is gone, we can continue making fun of him. So that's pretty much the final highlight color. You can see I'm just tucking it in right underneath the arm. Let's see. Now we're going to do the tops here of these folds.
Thank you, Trash, for that quote. That's perfect. That's a good question. What are we doing to the model right now? And don't say painting, Josh.
If John thinks he's trying to produce me from downstairs, he's out of his mind.
He does this on every show. I ignore him 9 times
Yeah,
out
I'm
of
literally
10.
going to ignore everything he's saying.
That's
since
fair.
I literally said what I'm doing 2 seconds ago, but that's fine, John.
It's
That's
fine.
cool.
No, it's
Yeah,
fine.
you're
Just
fine.
let John do his thing.
Yeah. Don't you need to plug the Discord, John?
Yeah, plug the Discord, John. Actually, where's Planer this morning? Usually she does a good job of plugging it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if she's actually in chat. Maybe she's off doing stuff today. Oh, look at that. He's blaming it on chat now. Said chat is delayed.
Okay.
Press X for doubt.
Yeah, press F for respect. R.I.P. John.
She's playing D&D. Oh, is she streaming it? Because that would be cool to raid if she was.
That'd be funny. She'd be like, my people.
Hey, Trash quoted you again.
Alrighty. Yeah.
Oh, no. Don't do that.
So now we're just using tarnished copper. I may go a little bit brighter than this. I don't know. We'll just see. We'll have to see.
You just really wandered in.
Wow. Hey, Sydney, if you could just never enter the chat like that again.
Oh, wow.
That is hilarious.
Hey, Josh outed you for relocating his Poke Tool, by the way.
Yeah. Sydney's the worst about grabbing my Poke Tool and then just leaving it somewhere where I don't know where it is. So.
Are we still doing phrasing?
I don't know what that means. Why is that? I don't know what you're saying.
Oh, no. Now it's become a game for her. She's a goblin.
She's a goblin?
Yeah, she said she's going to do it every time now.
Okay.
Now you're going to search for it.
Wait, she says it's on her desk. First of all, that's at my house. What are you talking about? I like how she's like, yeah, I have a desk in multiple places now.
And to quote her, you goof.
You goof? Okay, great. All right, so you can see, I think we're actually, this is it, right? This is the right color? There's a little bit, oh, so the difference that we're seeing here, this guy was hit with a bunch of matte varnish. So it's actually that little bit of shine that makes it look like it's a little bit brighter. But cool, so we're pretty much right on there. I need more of this color out though, so we'll go ahead and put more on the palette. And I'm not thinning the tarnished copper. It's the way the consistency in it, the way that it is totally fine to just do out of the bottle. As long as you're not over applying it, of course.
Is this a Bobby sculpt? Do you know?
It doesn't look like a Bobby Jackson sculpt to me. Only based on the face. It could be though. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I usually identify his stuff based on the faces. So. Bob Rodolphe, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Rodolphe, if you ever see like hair that's done in this style, where it's like a lot of strands that are very flowy, that's typically how you know that's one of his sculpts. So.
Yeah, I just looked it up, and it is Bob Rodolphe.
Bob Ridolfi.
Although John had already said that.
Mm-hmm.
But to confirm, because no one can trust John.
Chat's delayed.
It is delayed, yes. It is Bob Rodolphe.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's the noise I make when I impersonate John.
He sounds like Snidely Whiplash.
Yeah.
Perfect.
He's like, actually, this vent is painted like a World War II missile. Shout out to anybody that's been on the tour.
That sounds, perfect, actually.
No, we're kidding. John knows we're kidding. John, we love you. Okay?
He won't respond because he's going to say the chat's delayed.
Oh, right. He's like, the chat's delayed. All right, so finishing up the back of the cloak here. Sorry, let me correct that. All right, finishing up the back of the cloak here. Was that okay? I'm trying out for Jersey Shore 3. So, I'm trying.
Apparently, Sydney said there was an unintentional joke, and we don't realize we delivered comedy gold.
You know, sometimes when a child brings you a drawing that they did, and they're like, look what I drew for you. And you're like, wow, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. And then you put it on the fridge for a while. That's what we're going to do with that comment.
Oh. So. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So that's going right on my proverbial fridge right now.
That's going right on the fridge. Yep. Good job. Little pat on the head, you know. Keep at it, champ.
Oh, and there goes Sydney again.
This is how Sydney gets banned from the chat permanently. Great. Thank you so much.
Now she's asking me to tell you this joke, but this is more funny, I think.
But Justin, please tell him this joke. Yeah, that's great. All right, so, boom. Cloak is now cloaked. Let's do the green. So, on to the palette here. We'll get a nice little clean corner.
Okay, hold on. Do I need to cut to you while we're doing this? Is that what this is? Are you beating the devil out of it? No?
What?
Are you beating the devil out of it? That's... Okay.
Did that make you nervous?
A little bit, yeah.
Did you see it move?
Yeah.
All right, we're fine.
You know, a little tense.
We're fine. It's dead now, Jim. All right. Let's get our green, shall we? So we're going to be using jungle... Oh, sorry. We need Highland moss, not jungle moss. There we go. See, we're confusing kits here. I have the paints for March. Sorry. Cut back and forth. All right, so we're going to get this Highland moss color, which is pretty cool.
Also, you read that exactly as it appears, Josh?
Cut back and forth.
Actually, that was... All jokes aside, I think that was pretty spot on.
Yeah. And that's years of debate training. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to take that color and I'm going to add a little bit of noir black to it.
Summon the witch. Look at that citadel. What in the off-brand?
All right, so we're going to take a little bit of noir black, some of that Highland moss, and just make it a little bit darker gray. There we go. And we're going to use this to base coat all of our greens. Let's see.
Also, Jeffa, which camera are you referring to? The camera of him or the camera on the Mini?
I'm assuming he's asking about the
Mini cam?
yeah, the document camera.
Well, I don't want to tell people what that camera is because I've already burned through like 2 of them. I don't like them, and I don't want to, I don't want to tell anyone to get them.
They're not great. They do the job.
They do the job, but they're not great.
Yeah.
They're great if you want to photograph documents, though.
Mm.
Just don't use them for this.
I collect documents, so.
Just random documents.
Yeah, in my free time, I like to, catalog documents, organize documents.
Are these kind of like the pictures you talked about?
Oh, no, they banned me from porta potties. But so what we're doing now is we're just base coating our greens. And I am doing it a little bit translucent, so that way the Zenithal application... I wish we had a Justin cam where I could have just cut to him rubbing his face with his hands there.
Oh, that's perfect.
But we're base coating this a little bit semi-transparent, so that way the color shines through. And now we are left with the hat here, so we're going to go ahead and base coat that. I have a brush rolling across the table, running away from me currently. There we go. Now, when you have this color with you at home, if you're painting along right now, you'll notice, though, that this green is pretty strange. It is a very, very neutral green. I wouldn't say it's pastel. It's sort of hard to describe. It's more of like a grayish green. But highlighting it up and putting it next to a super warm brown like that will make it appear much more green than it actually is, which is nice. That's a visual contrast color theory trick there. That's a lot of words for you. But what do I know?
By the way, Trash actually, he asked if they banned you from porta potties. He really wasn't sure if that's what you had said.
Wait, what was the...
Trash.
I see a Rem album.
Yeah, Rem too, but...
Rem?
Well, the one above that.
The one above that? Oh, did he say they banned him from porta potties?
Yeah, he exactly.
Look. how many GoPros is too many? So what we're doing now is we're going to grab a little bit of, I believe, yeah, we just used our linen white here. So I'm going to grab our linen white, whatever white you were using at home. We're going to use this to highlight up the green that we're using. Today, I've been painting this whole thing with a size 2 brush. Typically, I wouldn't be doing that. I don't know why I'm doing it. I think it's because I'm a big lazy guy today. But we're letting this dry, and I'm going to add a touch of our linen white to our green. And you can see right here that really I'm focusing on where his knees are positioned and then the top of the brim. So, Rainbow Sculptor, yeah, so this is all me. So I pick the miniatures, the colors, yeah, so that's it. That is how all of that works.
Also, Sipstorm said that they needed to learn to trust the Zenithal Prime. Is that something that takes a little more like confidence to want to do? Is it like, as opposed to just solid priming, right? Like, is it something that can be more difficult? Is what I'm asking. Is that something that someone should fear more than just priming? Oh, okay.
Did that look dangerous?
Yeah.
So, no, not really. I mean, I'm assuming what is being referenced there is trusting the transparency aspect of it, because I would say like 85% of people that use the Zenithal highlight don't actually use it, right?
I see.
They use it to see where things should go, or they see where, like highlights should be placed or whatever, but they don't actually use the Zenithal. So I think that's probably what's being referenced there, is trusting like, okay, I don't have to do complete coverage. And the trick to that is really learning sort of how the transparency of the pigment works and then knowing what colors to place first. So I always go a little bit darker than I'm intending to go with that first application with some transparency, because that means it's going to be a little bit darker than the base color in the shadows. Now, of course, if I need to go back and accentuate a shadow, make something darker, I'll go back and do that manually. But yeah, so...
Twisted Oma is still stuck on this porta potty thing.
I don't know where this joke came from. There's no...
Apparently, not only... Like, you GoPro to porta potty? Who does that?
Who would do that? I didn't. You just can't perform operations in them, is what I found out.
Like, there's so many questions when you say that.
Do what?
Like the board game?
Yeah.
Operations, like...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Everybody's been to a board game convention, and you know that sometimes people just don't want to play the games you want to play. And that's what happens, so...
And Max Powers wants to know if you met Sydney at the porta potty.
No, she was actually living with a group of possums, and I rescued her. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Okay. So was she like prisoner to these possums?
I don't. It's debatable in the lore.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Sydney, for clarifying and taking it in the worst direction we could possibly take it.
To specify, if you were a possum, you would live in a porta potty. So the possums were in the porta potty.
It was a porta potty possum party.
Wow, that's a whole lot, but yes.
I love that sentence. Porta potty possum party.
All right. Well, there goes the title of the YouTube
Perfect.
video.
Perfect. I love it. Yeah, if we can just start titling these videos something that was said during the stream, then we're golden. So I'm now moving up with these highlights up underneath into the shirt or twisted part of the robe, I guess, like whichever this would actually end up being. I feel like my contrast isn't as perfect as it could be this time, but...
Yeah, it's because of the exposure. I think it kind of killed the contrast a bit, but...
we can increase the contrast.
That we can. Also, Max said, is it possum or opossum? And I know it's not pronounced opossum.
No, you would never...
No, but listen, opossum is the plural, right, Josh?
Opossum. Opossums.
Yeah, opossums.
Look at those opossums over there. So we're just highlighting up the hat. I do feel like it is a bit lighter this time around, but oh wow, looking at this little mold line right here, you wouldn't think I prepped this mini, but again,
I wasn't going to say anything. I was like, that looks like a mold line.
yeah. So I mean, if you don't believe that I did prep this mini, you could do !prep, and the link to the video will appear, and you'll see me literally shaving that down like crazy. So I probably just didn't hit it from the right angle. That's unfortunate, but it happens. So now I'm adding another 2 brush tips of linen white into our color here, and this will be our final little highlight. So I'm going to focus on the edges and sort of bridge in the middle like an H. So this is always a very quick and easy sort of tabletop level like technique you can do relatively quickly. So what I always do is I outline the left and the right of an object. So we're going to do the right hand edge of the cloak right there. We're going to do the left-hand edge of the cloak right here as it goes down across the top of the knee. Then you bridge it in the middle like the letter H. So you can just decide where the highest point is and just go ahead and do a straight line like that, and then taper it down into it to create your highlight like this. And this is a very simple way to make believable highlights, just like that. I think the exposure is sort of washing that out, but it exists.
Actually, I can see the highlights when you hold up the other because it looks as if the green, so it's hard to tell that it's green until you highlight it, and then it just makes it pop.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I like that.
Yep. Dabber Raccoon, just watch the prep video, and I actually talk about bending metal and the do's and don'ts and the whatnots of bending metal miniatures. So the key is go slow. And don't just go slapping around thinking you can just bend it quickly. It's more of like a continued motion thing, and it will bend to your will like a spoon.
Right, because you want to bend it back and forth, right? Over and over?
Yeah, over and over and over and over and over and over. Justin, this is why I'm doing the painting and you're doing the sitting. Okay?
Fact.
So, yeah.
I'm okay with that. Oh, I don't know, Jacob. It's literally some hobo we brought in. He said he could paint. Looks pretty decent.
John did call me a broke boy earlier, so.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Hold on, Jacob. Here you go. That's there he is. Oh God. Okay. I love that white trash was auto filtered there. That's great.
That's great. All right, so I am going to add a little bit more white because I feel like our contrast is a little bit different here today. So I'm going to do the edge one more time. Right about there. There we go. I feel like that brought it in towards a little bit more obvious.
I'm bald, Astley. I don't know anything about whipping hair back and forth to any degree. Also, historically for me, my hair always grew up and not down, so.
Your hair grew up, not down?
Yeah. Like it defied gravity at all times.
All right. Well, whatever that means, we're just going to move on. So I'm just so uncomfortable with the image that I just got in my head of his hair just growing straight out like it had Gorilla Glue in it. But
basically, yes.
I'm going to wash this down a little bit on the edges to make it darker. I took Noir Black and mixed it in with this green, which the resulting color is really just sort of a dark gray, which is perfectly fine for washing in to make the contrast darker, which is what we're doing right here. You can see. And then I'm pretty much removing all the pigment off that. There we go. I just needed that to be darker. I felt like that was a little bit too bright. Okay, so we got our cloak, and we've got our cape and our hat. So now we have all of the... Oh, guess who's a big old dummy? The guy that didn't paint the arms. And that guy is Justin. So...
What?
We forgot to paint the arms, so we're just going to go ahead and paint the arms here. I didn't do it. You did it. Just remember that. You at home caused me to not paint the arms here. So we're just going to highlight this up real quick.
While he's doing that, yes, Dabber Raccoon. Bob Ross. Bob Ross was exactly what my hair looked like growing up.
speaking of Bob Radolfi, he's the guy that sculpted this miniature, as we found out earlier today.
That's aggressive. That's really aggressive.
Is that the new meme for the show?
We were just talking about Bob Ross, so yeah.
Okay. All right, so he has a gray beard. So I'm just going to go ahead and take Noir Black. A little bit of water. Here's the consistency. We're looking for that flubber consistency. I'm add a little bit more. Of course, if it's your first time watching and you've never heard me talk about flubber paint before, it's where the paint has enough water in it to where you can spread it around on a wet palette and then it bunches back together. So you can see me doing that there on the top. Here, we'll do it right in the middle. See how it like wants to go back into that circular shape as I spread it around? That's how you know it's the right consistency. And then I'm just going to wash this over his beard.
Apparently, Max wants to know if you can make his beard glow red. I know how much you love making stuff glow red on this show.
You know, Max, I would love to teach you how to do that. You can learn from me directly by buying private lessons on my website. You can go to minipainting.studio and click in the store and you can book online lessons, or you can sign up for the Patreon. So thank you so much for bringing that up again today. You can check that out at patreon.com/minipaintingstudio for all of the information on what's available there. We are 70% of the way as well for me adding a secondary advanced class every single month. So that would mean 4 classes for $10. That's a great deal. That's a great steal of a deal. So
shameless plug.
Shameless plug. I mean, literally, I have no shame in plugging that. That's how I survive as a person. So
it's how you refrain from being a broke boy.
yeah. Okay, so we wash that down a little bit. Wash the beard as well. When that's dry, we'll go back in and start building in, the color on the face and everything like that. So let's get out our metallics. Let's go ahead and base the sword and whatever else he's got going on. So of course, the 2 metallics that we've been using this whole month-ioli has been antique gold and honed steel. So you can see these here. That'd be funny if this wasn't antique gold. For a second, I was like, this looks a little bit dark. All right.
Do you prefer an or just regular metal or regular metallic paint? What do you typically do?
So for commission work, I offer 2 prices, and the price, so pretty much it should be the same quality, and then the price that is almost 2/3 more than the other is the one that includes non-metallic metal. So, but I say that to say, like, there's sort of 2 schools of thought when it comes to non-metallic metal. There will be some people that are like, I don't like it because it doesn't work unless you're looking at a miniature from a certain angle. If you've been in the hobby long enough, you've probably heard that exact sentence. The opposite of that, at least for me, is true. So that, in my opinion, is the wrong thing to think when you think of non-metallic metal. When you're dealing with metallic paints, unless you're going to go back in and do lots of shading and highlighting up. I know Anne had that shaded metallic class, even on Patreon. We'll plug it again. So like this Maggot Crown Ogre was a metallic class on how to, bring in a bunch of texture, stuff like that. You end up doing a lot of work to make metallics seem more believable whenever you're painting just with straight up metallic paint. Now, what's funny is if you invest that amount of time in a metallic color, you could also invest that exact same amount of time or less doing a non-metallic metal application. And the difference with the non-metallic metal is that you literally can paint the reflections and the tones and the colors the exact way that you would want them to look, which is going to be fun for next month's kit because we do have sort of non-metallic metal right here on these blades. And it's going to take maybe like 4 minutes at most. So it literally is a technique that doesn't take a lot of time at all. Really, it's just sort of doing it a couple times and then you get it down. So I think where a lot of people get sort of goofed is when, so like this guy was on Patreon as well to just keep bringing it up. But this is a perfect example. So from any angle, right, if you're looking at this guy, you are going to see the reflections the same way, right? Like the way that I paint it, it doesn't necessarily matter where you look. It all makes sense. And this was done in 2 hours. So, you know, I mean, if you want something that looks sort of like this, that can look cool, you know, doing purple armor with something with purple skin, like being able to really adjust hues and tones to where you can create competing values, it's really not that difficult. So that's kind of just, you know, my opinion on it. Like in my personal painting, if I want something to look really nice, I'll just do it because it allows me to, you know, this is silver and this is gold. Sweet. We're going to apply a wash on top of it, and then we're going to highlight it up, and it's going to be silver and it's going to be gold, right? If I was doing it in non-metallic metal, that silver would have maybe 3 colors in it, right? And it would still read as a metallic silver. And the gold would have red, brown, black, white, and yellow, right? So like you just add more depth and you add more visual information in the things that you're painting. And that's kind of why I appreciate that technique a little bit more than just sort of your standard hi-ho, cheerio, adding some metallic paint. But of course, if I'm doing tabletop level stuff, yeah, I'm like slamming just metallic paint on stuff and applying a wash because I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing it. So
That's fair.
yeah. All right, so I've added in our silver and our little gold touches there. Captain Rantaman, I believe all 3 will be thrown in there. I don't think they're going to just like reserve a weird stash of the 3rd one. So I believe you're going to get all 3. I could be wrong. That's something I didn't really consider. I know they don't put the packaging in the kits. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say yes or no, but I believe yes. I'm not going to say yes or no for sure, but you know, the idea was just to base them. These 2 look very similar, and then obviously the smaller female one looks like the large fungal queen. So that's kind of the trade-off there. So, but all right, so we're waiting on that. I will go ahead and take. Let's see what we can use. We're going to use Brion Blue for the sheath on the sword there. Uh-oh, wait a minute. I did just notice we didn't wash that top part of the hair there, so we'll go ahead and do that. Okay. All right, so taking Brion Blue, Brony Blue. I like all the variations on the color names that we end up coming up with by the end of the month. It's a nice little fun thing to go along with. So I'm just going to add that blue right here.
Also, Ground Zero, yeah, Max got you, but it comes out tomorrow. But we're not going to sell out tomorrow, so you don't have to like sit there and wait for it to go live and then buy it.
I mean, you say that.
Well, I mean, you're right. It's possible we sell out, but we'll make more, so you'll be able to get them.
Yeah.
You won't be out of luck.
Yeah. So now I'm going to take, boop, 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 boop. So I'm going to take tarnished copper and add quite a bit of linen white. We're just going to make a light sort of tannish color for his pouch. His little satchel-y pouch thing on his waist.
Rainbow Sculptor wants to know which one you called female.
The one that looks like the queen. So maybe you should have made it look like the queen. If that's the case.
Wait, did she sculpt those?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, good job, Christine. Good job. They're adorable.
I've always thought it looks like the queen. So you can educate me if I'm wrong.
Oh, Max, the trolliest mod we could ever hire. But I like it. Speaking of sellout, let's hear about Patreon. That's what Trash said.
Oh, that's funny. You want to get banned, Trash? That's how I play. If you'd like me to just like not have a job and disappear and stop doing all these shows, then yeah, sure. I appreciate that feedback.
That's how it works, right?
Yeah. You know, it's all cool, but yeah, like that's literally how I make a living. So
It's fair.
you don't like it, you don't have to watch. Simple as that.
Do you advertise on Craigslist by chance?
No.
Okay. I recently got tuned into advertising on whatever it is, Craigslist. And I say that because apparently that's a common thing nowadays, is advertising on Craigslist. Except that anytime I've ever done that, I've gotten nothing but like scams.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I feel like that's a bad idea.
All right, so now I'm going to apply just a noir black wash over every... Oop, that is too dark. Let me see.
Looks good to me.
Oh, they're based on your kids? Yeah, so I always assumed, Christine, that the one that is wearing... The one that we didn't paint up right, the one that sort of is like the arm across the body wearing what sort of looks like a robe. I figured that one was just like a smaller version of the Fungal Queen, but visually they read similar or the same to me. So, applying that, and then on the bags, everything else that we have here. For highlighting up later. You actually can probably add some deep red. There we go. Make that a little bit brown. More brown, I should say. There we go.
So why do people wash metal with darker colors? Is that just to make it look dingy, or is it just complement the metal well?
It's just to add a little bit of more dimension, because so whichever way that this wash dries, it's going to dull the reflection of the pigment. And, you know, if we didn't do that, now it's still wet right now, but if we didn't do that, it would literally just be like this super bright object, and it's not as believable, if that makes sense.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
And that's why when I was describing the non-metallic metal, I was like, well, you know, if you want this to look really, really, really good, like Michael Proctor does a really good job of shading metals, right? But what's interesting is all that work is like the same amount of work. Like that's sort of my thing, is time investment comparison. And it's the same amount of work, you just get a different result, and it can look really awesome. But that's kind of why I look at it in those terms. So. But yeah, whenever I do shaded metals that I want to look really, really cool, I literally just like airbrush on it. So
It's funny you say that, JT Paints, because we had considered maybe streaming the one today because they were going to play. But I actually think I want to... sorry, Max. I think I want to improve kind of the way it looks first, like technically, not just the polish of the actual thing.
he wants me to lose about 15 pounds.
Wow. Wow.
Oh,
That is a straightforward way to put it. Yeah.
That is hilarious. All right. So now I'm going to be applying a sort of base skin tone here on his hands.
Just to clarify, because people may not actually know he's kidding, that's not at all what I said. Just to make sure. I don't want people thinking I called Josh fat. That's ridiculous. Because I'm bigger than he is. What's that old saying? Is it chunky but funky? Is that what it is? I swear I've heard that
Thanks,
somewhere.
I hate it.
No, not you. I meant for me.
I hate it. So, okay, Christine, then who is the one we didn't paint? Because that's the one that I'm talking about, right? So, like, these two, I didn't assign anything to. I believe they are just happy little fungoids, right? But it's the other one that I was talking about. So,
That's no, Sydney. Nope, not quite that. That's not the one I was looking for. Thank you, though. Don't repeat that, Josh. You guys can't see the look on his face, but he had a look.
I've got the look. What's that from? Isn't that a song? She's got the look. Is that a commercial or a real song?
I think you just made that up on the spot.
No, I didn't. Chat, back me up. God, I'm in here with a cultureless animal, okay, attached to a microphone.
Oh, I'm attached to it all right.
What was the dog hand puppet? You know who I'm talking about?
Roxette?
The one that would interview people and it was like really offensive. And he would have like a cigar in his mouth. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Chat knows who I'm talking about too. Like I said.
Apparently people are saying that's a Roxette song.
Okay.
And then Dabber Raccoon said Prince plus Sheila E.
Triumph.
There it is. Triumph the
Triumph?
dog. Did you just do that through a mic in here?
Yeah.
I wondered what that was. All I heard was merp. Merp.
You should look it up. They're hilarious.
Okay.
It would do very well in YouTube content today. So.
That's fair.
Or Twitch, actually.
Oh.
It'd be solid on Twitch.
Oh, yeah. Super solid on Twitch.
Christine said, "You mean the handmaiden?" And then
Yes,
she said,
Christine, this whole time. Oh my God.
"Yes, she's a girl."
It's okay. Christine is a wonderful sculptor.
No, she is. She's fantastic.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I need to cough really bad, but I'm withholding.
Yeah, you said you had a little bit of a cough this weekend.
Yeah. I took a ton of whatever it is, guaifenesin, whatever the stuff that makes you goop your cough up type of deal.
Mucinex?
Yeah, like the key ingredient in Mucinex. So I took a ton of that over the weekend, and it like felt like it wasn't doing anything. And then I woke up today, and I'm like, it worked.
There it is.
So, all right, we are on the final stretch here. We're getting there. So, I might actually add a little bit more of the wash to the sword here.
I think Sydney just compared you to a real life anime body pillow.
She's saying guaifenesin. See, there you go. Gypsy Jan. Hey, Jan. They go live tomorrow at 6. Good old Jan. Jan, when's the next time you're coming down here? We should try and raid Paint Club one weekend and like make it to where there's not room for people.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
Not really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that room maybe fits like 25. Because you can
sure.
slam like 60 chairs on those tables, but we're talking about painting. You know what I mean?
That's fair, yeah.
So I showed up there one time, and I was like, there's no room. And I showed up another time, the only other time I've been there, and there was plenty of room. So, but I would love to turn it into an unofficial event.
Yeah, I mean, Max Powers just outright said it. Josh is a giant anime body pillow.
Great.
Oh, no. Sydney, did you lose audio because it's on your end? Because I don't have any reports on my end.
Great.
So we're still looking good here.
I like how you said that, like, she's, like, on a mic or, like, on a two-way radio right now. You're like, Sydney, did you just lose? If she lost audio, how would she hear you?
Oh, she muted it. Also, out. What is it?
Out?
What's the CB radio? Clear? You say clear at the
Clear.
end of your
Over.
sentence? Over.
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 Oh, I like the added. That was good. I'm glad you added that. That's how you know. So now I'm taking a wash and I'm putting it on top of the band across his hat, mostly because it does pre-shading for us. Wow, I can hear Collins just running across the upstairs. Dum, 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 dum.
That's what he does most days.
Dum, 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 dum. What's funny is when he comes walking over here, it is just like someone's angry. Collins mad.
He's the most unimposing angry person to have ever met.
I don't know, man. He kind of has that like silent rage. Like he's seen some things. Like he saw like a first edition 1996 Charizard holographic get ripped in half. Like somebody took his Beyblades. Like
Speaking of someone taking his Beyblades, it fits into what Sydney just said.
get my Warlord army together.
AKA Raw Collins running. He's running back and forth, getting his army together.
Oh, okay. Yes, I see. Collins mad. Yeah, Sydney cheated and won her first game of Warlord last night. So it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. So we're just waiting on those washes to dry, and we're going to finish up all the details on this guy-o right here. Now then, I know all of you have asked so many times, will you please show, doing the basing? Will you show the basing? Please show the basing. It's happening. So for March's kit, I did record a video of myself sculpting the bases and putting the miniatures on them. And it's actually kind of cool because you'll see these in their work in progress stage as well. So, but these were very, very easy. How many people from the mini painting exchange group are going to give you minis you taught them how to paint? Actually, that would be really, really cool. Christine. I think that's a really cool idea. That's not something for the public though. So that's something that she's talking about that no one else knows about. But what I'm trying to do is essentially I've reached out to like friends and Patreon students and other painters and people that I've met over the last like 3 years or so, and then I'll paint a miniature for them, and then they'll do one for me, and then at the end of it, I'll have a collection of like something painted by all these people that I've met, and it'll be a nice way to remind me of like, you know, how fun the community is. That's the plan. But that'd be really, really cool to get minis painted from people that I have been teaching, so to speak. So, but I don't know. Great idea, Christine. I'm up to like 10 people now, so I'm kind of like, all right, we're gonna put a plug on that. So, what is a warlord, or what is the warlord game? So, warlord is a sleeping giant, is the way that I would describe it. But it was a tabletop skirmish game that wrapped up, like what, 10 years ago at this point?
Yes, that sounds about right.
Pretty much, it was like 2009 or
Yep.
10. So it's around 10 years completed, I would say. It's actually really, really fun. Oh, thanks, Max, giving Sydney a. She's just talking so much trash in the chat, but giving her a sub. Remember, you can also subscribe for free using Amazon Prime if you have an Amazon Prime subscription. Hit that subscribe button in the top right-hand corner if you're watching on desktop. If you're on mobile, I think you have to scroll down the feed. But either way, you can link your Amazon Prime account and subscribe there. Or you can just gift subscriptions to people. It gives them a cool emotes and little icons next to their name and things like that. And it helps support all of the streams here. Obviously, purchasing the Miniature Monday kits help the entire streaming operation and all the shows, because that's a good little funding thing happening there. But then, too, at the same time, if you don't want to buy the kits, or you're already buying the kits and you want to help more, you want to do more, you can always subscribe through that. So, but I totally forget what I was talking. Oh, Warlord. So Warlord's a skirmish-based game. It's really, really fun. I feel like, I mean, it did really well when it was popular, but I feel like it sort of missed the window. Like right now, at the time, 10 years ago, it was when sort of like Infinity was getting popular, War Machine. It was when sort of these smaller-based army games were getting really big. To compete with like the Games Workshop, you know, really huge battle games. And then now the trend is back to these small skirmish games. And then obviously we have a huge library of, you know, miniatures to choose from, especially with Bones and Bones Black being available. I'm just seeing Justin like shaking his head over there. I don't know what's going on, but with the Bones...
Max Powers.
Okay. But so, you know, with the Bones minis, things like that, you can build an army for literally like $20 and have a great time. So that's sort of what we've been doing. And this year at ReaperCon, we're also going to be doing games of Warlord. I know I'm going to have at least one army there. Sydney's painting up her... Actually, so like the first miniatures she's ever been painting have been the stuff for her Warlord army. And then I know probably 10 to 15 other people. It said that there's like 70 people in the Warlord group on Facebook now. There's quite a resurgence of interest in the game, I'll put it that way. So we're just trying to make something that's already fun sort of come back around and see what may come of that. So, but we're ready to start highlighting if you want to hop back. Do you expect any of the Warlord line to move to Bones Black? Well, Riot, they already have. There are some miniatures already that have made it to Bones Black, and a lot of them that have made it to just regular Bones. Now, the names are slightly different, so you kind of have to know what you're looking for, but that's the deal. My favorite Warlord faction is the Nefsokar, so the Egyptians, probably followed up by, I don't know, but I'm going to have a second army, just something totally different than the way that they work, so that's kind of how that's going to work, but... Oh, wow, thanks, John. Bam, bam, bam. He's just slapping it in the chat.
There it is.
So, I'm going to highlight up the face and the skin here. And again, I am making like player aids for people in the Warlord group and unit cards and all kinds of stuff like that. So I'm trying to make it as accessible as possible. It's already really accessible. The rules you can buy, either the first rule book or the second rule book. And yeah, what? Oh, how many times he posted?
No. Well, that, but no, Sydney again.
Okay. Thanks, Sydney. Can you stop, please? Thanks so much. Thanks.
Oh boy. Oh, Max is the two of them back and forth. This is great.
All right.
So that
I'm sure-
highlighting
Yeah, I'm sure this reflects really well to the people in charge here. Thank you so much.
perfectly.
Yeah, so I'm just highlighting up the face. As you can see, I'm using the same color that we used to base it all with before I applied a wash in there. Highlighting up the hand.
You know, I think of all the painting I've done ever, I want to say that's the one thing I never really did, and I feel like I should have because it would have just improved things. Would be highlighting. I just block painted everything.
So the easiest thing, like the easiest skill and the easiest way to immediately upgrade the way that your miniatures look is not only applying like a wash, but learning how much of a wash to apply and then only highlighting back up to that same base color. So if we just used a just plain brown, washed it, and then learning how to highlight on top of the wash with that same brown, immediately looks good.
I see.
And once you sort of get that principle down, you then apply it in the rest of your painting, and it just goes from there. So,
Yeah, because I like his face. It looks pretty good. And his beard, too.
the beard, we're definitely going to go back in and highlight up here.
You going to add some gray beard hairs?
Yeah, so adding our linen white into our noir black. Now then, this is something you could dry brush, but to illustrate my point about dry brushing, this is sort of a Reaper John. I like mini painting. Thanks for bringing the chat back into focus there. So this is just an area where you stand to hit the top of the hat, the face, the cloak. There's just a lot going on right there. So what I like to do instead of dry brushing is what I call implied highlighting. So instead of thinking about painting what we're seeing here as hair, think of it as highlighting it as any other object. So what I mean by that is you're going to see when I'm applying these highlights, I'm just sort of pushing it up to the closest shadow, the same way that we do skin, the same way that we do cloaks and fabrics and anything that's getting highlight. And I'm just painting it in on top. I'm not worried about the individual strands of hair, mostly because we're going to go back in and wash on top. But it's a really, really good way to sort of, whoa, what do we ruin? Nothing? Cool. It's a really good way to learn how to, oh yeah, we did actually. I just got brown paint all over the top of the hat.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine.
It's okay. It wiped right off. But, so I'm going to keep highlighting this up. So you're going to see I'm going to keep going back closer and closer to where those shadows are. And it's really blocky. This is like sketching in highlight color, meaning not very refined. I'm just trying to place it where I want it to show up.
And you have done so far this entire thing with a number 2, right?
Yeah, we're using a big brush today. I'm not sure why. What am I missing in the chat? He's planning on doing something for the main hall. Yeah, we'll see. We just have to get anything confirmed, obviously, which is a battle in itself.
That's
but if I do teach classes, they're not going to be classes at all. They're going to be demonstrations, and they'll probably be the same format that I did with Shoshi last year, where it'll be 2 painters in a room working on the same miniature. So,
okay.
yeah, it was a concept called dueling brushes, and it's a really interesting way for people to see artists approaching the same issue in completely different ways. So I like to pair with people that paint very differently than I do, and it's just a really, really good way for people to see a lot of stuff. So, anyway. And then we're just going to let that dry and do a couple finer highlights, and he'll pretty much be done. I'm going to take my honed steel here, highlight up the edge of the blade. Like so, just to give it some more dimension. You can see I left a little bit of that wash in the center to just give a bit of a gradation. if you want to take more of my classes, sign up for the Patreon, of course, or buy private lessons. Those are always available. And then I do have some stuff coming in pretty soon that will be as close to an in-person event as possible. So, but none of that has really been announced by me because I'm just too busy. I am a one-man show, so unfortunately. But now going back in with our linen white and just sort of highlighting up some of the individual strands. Now, Bob Rodolphe is good at doing hair because he gives you width of hair that is pretty much the width of a brush, if that makes sense. So, you know, some sculpting, old school hand sculpting, hair was more of a textured thing and not like individual strands. And hair like that is pretty difficult to paint. You pretty much can only wash it down. When it comes to individual strands, like Bob Rodolphe, Bobby Jackson, and Jason Wiebe are really, really good at giving painters an opportunity to do individual strands because they're just a little bit bigger than others. So, and digital sculpting too. You get way more opportunity for painting individual hairs. So, but something very simple like that. So that's pretty much it. I mean, we can highlight up his staff a little bit. I mean, we can use tarnished copper with a little bit of something mixed in. Of course, tarnished copper is so close to the color that we used already. I'm going to add a little bit of red in there as well and just highlight up some of the brighter parts. Yeah, I know, Jan. But yeah, trust me, I've got something in the works very soon that is a very affordable option for people that are wanting sort of, you know, much more in-person / hands-on teaching without having to go anywhere. So very excited to get that ball rolling, but I've been working on it for months now at this point. So months and months. I mean, I even have custom tissue paper printed. Custom tissue paper.
Is that to blow your nose with?
Nah, just to pack stuff. It looks really nice and fancy. So, but I wish I had. You could blow your nose with Mini Painting Studio. I know a couple angry clients that would love to buy that. All right.
I think there's some stuff. Did you get some stuff on the cloak there? Oh, perfect. Yeah, no, it's gone. It's gone. Yeah, there we go.
There we go. So let me see. Do you hold in-person group classes during the year? So this year, probably in April, I'll be doing another painting retreat. I did one last year where we had 10 people come in from all over the country in an Airbnb for a 3-day weekend. And that was really, really fun. It's a lot of just in-person, paint on whatever you want type stuff. The class or those events are really tailored to you. I know that if you've ever seen sort of in-person painting events before or workshops, it's usually like everyone gets this one mini and then everyone paints on the same thing for like 5 hours. That's definitely not how my painting events happen. My painting events are literally like, come through, I give you a bunch of miniatures and a bunch of paint for free, painting products, I show you how to do brush control exercises. Like we do, it's more of a concept-based growth experience, and it's not so much I'm just going to make you replicate what I'm working on. And so it's all individual stuff. Like, so Matt Kinney, who's there, Peter, he was there last year, and like Peter was having issues with like his paint application and thinning, different things like that. And he showed up, and literally like what I would do is I'd walk around the room and I'd be like, all right, mix your paint. All right, your problem is you have too much water. So like literally I'm touching people's paint. I'm like physically making sure they understand the concepts that I'm trying to get them to understand, which is a lot more personal than if you are just painting on the same bust. And it makes it a little bit easier too. It's multiple days, so you're not trying to slam a bunch of stuff into just like a 5-hour session. And then of course we get to hang out, we get to go out to eat, we get to do all that fun stuff too. So, but yeah, that's sort of what I like to do. But of course it's very limited. And I think it sold out in 24 hours when I launched it last year. Like it sold out in like 8 hours. And then we had 2 people back out, and then I put the 2 tickets back for sale, and then they sold out again. So, people can back out typically if it's a big issue, and 2 people had very serious health issues pop up, so it was no big deal. But yeah, so that's really it for today. The color difference that we're working with here, you can see that there is no reflection on this Mini, and it's because I matte varnished the crapola out of it. This guy, if he had a matte varnish, all of that reflection here on the browns and reds, even on some of the green, would completely disappear. So you can see literally what matte varnish does. I actually use a Vallejo Mecha Air varnish. It's a relatively new product. I talk about it all the time. I think it works really, really well. You can use any brush-on sealer that you want. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. We made it all the way through February. Thanks for hanging around so much. I appreciate you. Let's go ahead and one more time close cam the miniatures for March. So in the kit that is available tomorrow at 6 p.m. Now I don't have the, actually I do have the colors next to me, but we have some cool colors available. So the helpless NPCs for next month are these 2 fungoids right here. You can see they're just so happy-go-lucky, which is what makes it a little bit funny with the hero for March, who is definitely I would say probably not a happy-go-lucky kind of adventurer. I think she is probably a very sneaky rogue, so that's really fun. Then, of course, the monsters. More of a spider under mountainy theme here. So we have this spider full of fun texture. I don't know why, but the pose cracks me up every time. He's like he's a little jumping spider. But so a lot of fun texture on that. And then of course the really big spider demon. I forget what her actual name is, but this Drider type of dark elf as well. So, and this is a multi-part, really big miniature. So we'll have a prep video for that as well. But otherwise, remember to always check out the rest of the shows. Do you have the graphic for the shows for the rest of the week?
I do, actually. Let me change it here, because otherwise it's going to be above those. And bam!
So, you can always catch me here, of course, Miniature Mondays at 3 p.m., Terrain Tuesdays with Ed, which I believe he's still... Oh, okay, the trebuchet looks like it's got a lot of color on it. He may have some more work on it there, but I know he's going to attempt to start doing some dioramas for all of the stuff that we were working on here on Miniature Mondays too. Then, of course, Toolbox Live with Ann, and then you can catch Ann as well, typically at 11 a.m. Monday through Thursday, as she's doing... That'll be remote streaming now?
Only on Mondays.
Oh, only on Mondays. Okay, so then you can see her other show, Toolbox Live, not just the pro tips, 3 p.m. on Wednesdays. Then you have Painting Platinum, 3 p.m. Thursdays with Reaper Live at 6. And then on Fridays, you have Reaperland and or Bones 5 Live, depending on the schedule. So that is it for all of our shows that we have on here. Remember to follow All Things Reaper Miniatures on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. These videos are re-uploaded on YouTube. So if you've been wondering, right, like if you buy the kit, do you have to try and hurry and paint along with me? It does go relatively quickly here. No, not really. You can just try and ask questions here, whatever you may want to do while it's live, and then the video gets re-uploaded for all of you to then go and rewatch certain parts, whatever, in your own time. So if you like the January kit but you couldn't buy it in January, you can go back and buy it now and then just paint along at your own pace later on. So, but I think that's pretty much it. Are we rating anybody today?
We are. Also, for the socials, there is links in the description below on on Twitch.
Right.
I believe it's going to be in the YouTube details. It usually is. It might have gotten changed at some point, but we are actually going to be rating Mocha.
Mocha's Minis. Assuming that I didn't just add a weird plural possessive on that somewhere.
No, it is Mocha's Minis.
There you go.
You are correct.
Very fun.
Spread the Reaper love. Keep being awesome, and tell Mocha that she's awesome, because she is. I like Mocha a lot. She's pretty cool.
Thanks, Max. I appreciate you.
You know what? I appreciate that, Max. I do. Don't look at me like that, Josh.
The compliment one for you, man. All right.
I really appreciate all the painting that you love that I do on this show, Max.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Josh is my my vessel.
What? Vessel? That's not the word.
That's the word I want to use.
It's okay. All right.
And we're gonna raid, guys. Thank you for coming and hanging out. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
See you later, guys.
See ya.